SupaKnowVa.
Daniel,
Howdy.
heard you went on a date
Yeah.
tonight, right? Earlier tonight.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Hell,
Nice, lucky
spill
guy.
spill the Goya.
There still isn't necessarily much to say. I mean, interesting enough person, because I've definitely had, there have been times where I've been on dates where like you just wonder how this person exists. Like, what does she have going on at all? Now, some of that could be shyness, but some of it, might be some chauvinism of mine, but I just think some people just are that basic. They just have nothing there under the surface. This person did. She was into theater and she worked in international development.
I thought you were going to say International House of Pancakes.
Which was actually that was what I did my grad school degree for, was international development. So nominally we should have had something to talk about, but she just didn't seem interested in divulging much. And my tendency in those situations is to just fill the void. And where what I had to offer wasn't interesting to her, clearly.
So you guys just did not click.
Yeah,
basically. So walk us through, where did you meet her?
Like, where was on Hinge.
Okay.
Inbound, like she liked one of my photos, then chatted for a while, made the ask. The first date never materialized. She claimed that her cat was sick, which, since we did end up having the date, I'm inclined to believe it just wasn't working for, there's all sorts of.
So she's a cat person, so you have that in common as well, right? Because you're a cat person.
I completely forgot about that for tonight.
Oh, see, yeah, you're both cat people. So I'm not familiar with Hinge. Is it similar to like Tinder, or is it?
It's similar to Tinder, but to speak to like the thing we just did with the 1-minute questions with Hinge, they provide so that you can choose prompts and then an answer to those prompts. Though even that, I feel, is kind of too open-ended. This has kind of been my problem with online dating in general, is I don't know how to sell myself,
right?
Or at least not in that regard. Like, I'm very good at like job hunting.
But the interview,
the last round of job hunting I was in, every interview I got complimented for my cover letter. They said this is like one of the best cover letters we've seen. So that, like, assuming that there's a bit of like blowing smoke going on there, I'm assuming that they're being genuine about that. So like when there's a specific like goal, I'm very good at writing towards that. When it's just like, oh, well, sell yourself romantically is,
So,
I did get some tips recently on like which prompts are the best for like what combination of them kind of presents the best like array of yourself. And then you put in pictures and you swipe and you like, is that part's all normal.
So I guess what attracted you to her initially? Was it her photos? Was it her profile?
I mean, when you're a guy on a dating site, you can't afford to be that picky.
So you just
she was not unattractive.
So you picked her because she picked you, basically? Is that what you're saying?
Post-COVID, I don't know whether it's the age group that I've aged into or just how the dynamics have changed. I've been getting nothing.
Yeah.
Used to be reliably, I'd get a few matches a week, could, if I was putting the effort into it, go on a few dates a month. This has been, I've been trying at this. Now, granted, like I started this at the beginning of December, which is the bad time, and January is also the bad time. February is iffy because, there are folks who don't want to be alone on Valentine's Day, but then on the other side of it, like,
people that loathe it, yeah.
Well, do you want to be on your first date on or around Valentine's Day? Like, are you getting too much in your head? Are you worried that the other person is putting too much like emphasis on it?
Yeah.
I've heard other things. So I missed the prime season because Thanksgiving is like cuffing season.
Well, usually all of winter is because you want to be cuddling with somebody throughout the cold months or whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was just to have somebody, not even to have somebody to bring home, but to just have somebody when the parents or older siblings say, do you have somebody? You just be like, well, fuck yeah, here's the guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. I know that was a thing in college, and I didn't think it was like a thing outside college, where you find someone for the winter, gotta hibernate with someone warm.
Exactly. Yeah. Gotta find someone to cuddle with.
The cuddle months. Okay, so you met her. So you chatted a little bit before you met her in person. How long did you guys chat before meeting in person? Like
my rule tends to be about like, and I am very, mostly because I just hate online dating. I do it because I feel I have to. So I don't like message too much. I'm not a very rapid messenger. I'll send like 1 or 2 per day, depending on their cadence. You try to match energy a bit. My general rule of thumb is about 3 or 4 days of messaging, then ask, because I don't want to like waste.
You want to drag it out too long. Yeah.
And, because some people want something different. And again, I hate the dating apps, so I'm not like going to spend time just chatting with you. I got Discord, I got all kinds of social media. If I want to chat with somebody, I'm going to chat with somebody. But so yeah, about 3 or 4 like days worth, asked her out. We did make an agreement, but that like timing wise, it was about 2 weeks apart. I did like send a message in the meantime to kind of keep the conversation warm. Then like the day of that first scheduled date, she canceled
because of the sick cat.
Right. Okay. And then I immediately proposed like an alternative date, which she like ghosted me on. I assumed it was just gone. Then she came back.
Okay.
Which, the people are unpredictable. And to go back to my point about like overthinking things, is you can't read too much. Online dating is extraordinarily shallow.
Of course, it's all about
anything. Well, even to say that anything that people say, any action they take, really has very little weight.
Yeah.
Not just to say like there is the problem of like making yourself available to like an algorithm, high YouTube algorithm, making like the blandest, most algorithmically optimized version of yourself, but just also it's too casual for my taste almost. But anyway, we did, end up having the date. The place I proposed was a kosher bar in DC. I showed up a few minutes early. I thought I was going to be late, but the metro actually came through clutch for once because I had trouble finding parking in Crystal City for the metro.
So she lives in DC, or is that where you guys?
Yeah, she lives somewhere in Northwest DC. Okay. So I proposed a location in Foggy Bottom, which is like west. Technically it's Northwest, but that can go like way the hell up to American University and the border of Chevy Chase. But somewhere, accessible for me and presumably accessible for her. But like when we showed up to this place, we would have been the only people in there. So we both agreed like, either there's something wrong with them or it's just going to be weird for us.
Yeah.
So we called an audible and ended up at a coffee shop.
Perfect place.
Which capped a solid like, the date started at 6, ended at 7 because the place was closing at 7. It was a coffee shop, so it wasn't open late.
Oh yeah.
I always take most of my first dates always happen at a coffee shop. It is super chill, very lax, no commitments. There's no like you're not beholden to do anything.
Right.
And if you have to bail, you bail. You know, it's a coffee shop.
I mean, generally, especially because I'm not necessarily one. You know, you can drive, or you have to drive to a lot of places. Too, like a coffee or tea place is less threatening if you want that like first date, very safe mode to it, than a bar, say. But I've done bar first dates too. It's not, you know, just depends on what they're after. And so this could have been a bar first date, ended up being a coffee first date. Well, she had tea. I made the mistake of having coffee.
Later.